I want to save it all for the pod.
All right, welcome to another edition of Sex Addicts Daily. We are bringing on another sex addict. This is what's called a solo sex addict. His name's AJ O'Connell.
Solo
You
sex
said
addict?
you are addicted to masturbating?
Only when you're around.
Only when I'm around.
Yeah.
I
I don't really want to do the pod so much.
If this audio is not
I
corrupted,
was lured over here.
you were lured
I was lured by the
This is
hope
a
that I could
with you could what?
jerk off in front of you. But
Yeah, well, that's how the podcast is going to
I don't
end.
really hope Grandma does.
If the audio is good enough,
If
which
that's good.
it
People
might
got to hear it.
It might not be. If it's not good enough, then this episode doesn't exist. But if it is, then this will be our first surprise guest on Cooper Lyden is Alone.
I'm a surprise.
Yeah, you weren't planned.
Oh, okay.
I thought of this 30 minutes ago.
Oh, cool. Was there another guest before me?
No.
So I'm the first guest ever, not just the first surprise guest.
Yeah.
And I was the guest on the super secret Lost episode. Is that canon? Do people know?
I think that might have been mentioned. You
Okay.
were technically on the podcast.
It wasn't good. You didn't miss
But
much.
due to like kind of network disputes and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that, it didn't get put out.
Yeah.
30 minutes ago, I was in the shower and I was like, I'll do the podcast today. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I could. I know the whole thing is Cooper Lyden is alone.
Not anymore, baby.
But today I was like, maybe I don't want to be alone. Let's just
Aw.
see with somebody else. Sometimes you call in a friend,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a Joe Cocker situation. We called in AJ O'Connell, my roommate. He is an avid listener of the pod because we share a wall. So you get to hear it live. Can you hear me talk? Can you hear the words I'm saying, or do you just hear me being loud when I do the podcast?
No, occasionally I can get a word in, but I don't try to listen.
You don't
so
sit and listen, yeah.
I do all my best to not hear
Right.
because I got to save it for the listen on the pod.
Oh, right, when you listen
I
to
don't want
it.
any spoilers through the wall.
When you play it quietly next to you on the couch so I can get views.
I try to give you some watch time on YouTube.
Right,
Because
right.
hey, watch it on YouTube, people. Cooper's dying on YouTube.
I am dying. I'm dying on all platforms. I mean, I don't even know if I can say I'm dying because I don't know if I've really lived yet as
Okay.
a podcast. I think I'm hopefully in the cocoon
Mm.
and we're going to bloom.
Yeah, that's the
But-
best you can hope for.
I looked at my watch time and it was like 0.3,
Out of what?
like 100 or something.
Okay.
Like people listen to like,
Oh, that's percent of watch time of the whole thing?
I think
that makes sense because it's like really long, right? So
it's an hour.
It's an hour. So of course, most people will not watch a whole hour podcast.
I think I watch
Almost
our
anyone
podcast
finds.
of people I like.
Okay, but it's not like every podcast you discover, you're like, if this came up in your YouTube feed, you click the button. You're not like
No.
there's no way. The odds of you being like, I'm gonna listen to this guy for an hour and then become it's got to be a low turnover rate or low like.
I think it's like this. I think it's like the slowest turnover rate to the point that you, like, if it was a ball turning over on a hill, you wouldn't even know it was turning.
Right, because there's no such thing as clickbait in this, unless you just like put in the title like this is what I talked about and it was something interesting. But like you can't. It's just a guy talking, so they have to like the guy.
They have to like the guy.
Yeah, it's not like in this episode I discuss.
No.
It's not like here's like a 6-second thing that you're gonna like.
I mean, honestly, I do talk about hot topics.
And you put those in the title.
I'll spend like 35 minutes on Hitler.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll go.
You should put that in the YouTube. Well, they might actually bury that. I don't know.
Sometimes I wonder because in the descriptions I always keep it short, but I'll be like, I talked about Hitler, and then sometimes I backspace and I go, maybe I should I or can you just talk? Because I'm not saying he's good.
Is there a difference in views on those episodes? You should try doing. You're putting out so many. You should do research with this.
I do a little bit of research, and the research mostly comes out to none of the episodes do very well.
Yeah, so
And
there's not enough of a sample.
The ones that do better, I don't totally know why.
The difference between 4 and 8.
I think if I put out a clip, it'll help. Clips help.
Sure, clips help because
That's my clickbait.
That's grabby. Yeah.
It grabs people, it gets people going.
Mm-hmm.
I get people going mostly in I don't know, if I talk about, like, I talked about Mr. Beast, and I got responses on that.
Yeah.
They were all negative.
But they're responses.
But they are
But
responses.
those people they have to like the guy, as we said. So they're not, I guess those people are not coming to liking the guy.
No, they're coming. The problem is I will post clips that I know will get attention, but it's negative attention. Because I'll be like, well, if I talk about Mr. Beast, his fans will watch it. But I'm not, like, praising Mr. Beast, so
Right.
I get people, and it's, they say bad publicity is still publicity, but I think when you have no publicity to start with bad,
You also want to cultivate a good little community here.
I'm trying.
Yeah. You know what though? There were people like that hated on you about the Mr. Beast thing, and then someone else was like defending you. Oh wait, that might have been me defending you.
You did defend me.
Damn it, never mind. I thought someone else did it. I forgot. I forgot who I was.
I had one person defend me because in a clip I made fun of Mr. Beast doing charity for views, pretty much, and everybody was mad at me. They were like, "He's just doing a nice thing. You're an asshole." And then some guy commented, and he was like, "No, I'm totally on his side. My side, he means. This is fucking bullshit," as a hardcore Christian, and then got into like...
The hardcore Christian's on your side.
But even for a hardcore Christian, he made a very lucid point, which he was
fine.
like,
Yeah,
in the Bible, it was saying you should do nameless charity. He was like, in the Bible, they're like, don't do charity just so people fucking like you. And that's what Mr. Beast is doing. And then he ended it with a pretty hardcore Christian thing where he's like, and his name is Mr. Beast. The devil much? And I think
that's so funny.
I did like it because you realize...
you like when people agree with you.
Yeah, when nobody...
For whatever reason.
When nobody watches your podcast, literally anybody could be your fan.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
if that... There is few people that I would have to say no to in the comments. Like, if an active, open Clans member was defending me, I would have to be like, buddy...
I disagree with
I'd
that.
send him a private message. I'd be like, first off, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Continue to listen. Your support is welcome.
Continue to listen.
Here's the Patreon link.
Stop commenting. Just stop commenting. Because it's too early for me to have an alt-right racist fan base. In 2 years, if the podcast is going well, not my fault.
Listen, if you want to show this to some friends of yours, whoever they may be, share.
The problem is, I think why a lot of podcasters get into that is a tight community and they all like to listen to the same stuff. Yeah. So if one guy likes it,
I said you got to cultivate a community.
You kind of get like 150 other guys. You get a whole
community.
And chances are, if one of them listens to you, the other guys are pretty like-minded.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think I have actually pretty nice listeners. I think I mostly have... It's about 50-50 men and women, I think.
Wow.
Actually,
that's tough.
No, I think it's more 60 dude.
Okay, but that's probably better than a lot of creators.
I think also like older, like 50-year-old gay dudes like it.
Okay, yeah.
And if that's just for eye candy, I'm fine with that.
You got to take those.
But I will say the people that like it, I mean,
you're taking a Klansman. You got to take the gay guy.
I'm not really taking him. I don't want to say accepting either.
That's worse than taking.
Tolerating? Begrudgingly receiving.
I think you're accepting him.
Begrudgingly receiving. It's like I'm getting fucked, but I'm like, nah. Okay. Like, but I think I know everybody that likes it because the people that like it comment. Like one guy was I think that's because one guy was like, I was so surprised. This was a real comment. It was real because he was like, I was so surprised that I was interested in listening to you talk about nothing for an hour.
Oh, wow. That's the best. That's when you made this podcast, that has to be like goals of the podcast.
That is the only
goal.
goal.
Saying exactly that comment.
I have to talk for an hour a week with like some planned topics, but really nothing.
Yeah.
So if somebody's not okay with me talking about nothing, there is no podcast.
That's unbelievable. That is a great comment.
It's a great comment.
That's the greatest comment I've ever heard.
If you come for the topics.
Imagining, like, I can put myself in your perspective here pretty easily and just be like, wow, that's the only thing I'd ever want to hear.
Of course. Because it's not like I ever have anything to talk about.
No.
I don't really do anything in my life. I do the same things every week.
Sure.
So it's not like one week I'm going to be like, crazy news. I just come in and I'm like, I went to NASCAR and I got...
That was crazy.
It was crazy, but it's like, it's just something that, it's not like, hey, big life news, guys.
We'll see. You've gone to 2 shows now, right?
I've gone to 2 NASCAR races.
Races, that's what they call them.
I don't think I'm going to go again.
Okay. So.
I think hardcore fans call it the chase. Who you got in the chase?
That's great.
They like to say that, but...
That's really cool. NASCAR fans just got a little cooler in my eyes.
I realize those aren't my people, really.
Well,
I did bring you on the podcast to make a confession.
Oh, no.
That I thought should be public.
Oh, boy.
I did smoke some of your weed.
Oh, okay.
First, I thought it was Sam's.
Yeah.
And then later Sam was like, that's actually AJ's weed. It's not my weed.
And I walked in and he said, I think I'm smoking your weed.
And then and then I smoked a little bit more of that weed,
Oh yeah,
which
that's
is
fine.
from our friend Dylan.
Yeah, it's from Dylan. That's Dylan weed. So
You said you were high though, and Sam said you were off weed for a little.
yeah, I was off weed.
What
for a little.
happened?
My friend's birthday was the other day, and
What friend?
My dear friend Jesse, my best friend in the whole world.
Where does he live?
He lives in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So how does that
I'm
make
not
you?
just reading your.
How does that make you get high?
Oh well, because he was gonna get a little high, and then we were gonna play video games together online. So I was like, oh well, on my way home from the open mic, might as well get a little something from the place down the street. And so now I have it.
That's great how peer pressure kind of, even though he's in Philadelphia.
It's not really peer pressure. I just like he's gonna be in that level. I want to be at that level.
I think that is peer pressure. He's not pressuring you, but it is the pressure you're putting on yourself of
Okay.
your peers smoking weed.
Everybody else is doing it.
Do you feel remorse for succumbing to peer pressure?
No, I had a great time.
You had a great
I
time?
had a really good time.
How do you celebrate his birthday? Just at home on video
He's
games?
at home. His girlfriend is working at night, so
Is he not a party guy?
I don't think he threw a party. You know.
I think guys that, because I'm not a party guy either, but I threw one last year. I didn't throw one. You were there.
I
right?
wasn't there. Famously not invited. One of the biggest snubs of Cooper's birthday last year, I think.
We didn't live together yet.
I still got to be at the top, towards the top of the list of snubs.
I don't think I had really met you at all before that.
We
I'd
met years
you,
ago.
I'd met you twice, but I think if
I think more than that.
I think you would admit that if I invited you to that birthday party, you'd be like,
If you singled me
surprising.
out and invited me, yeah,
you would have been on a
That would've
close
been weird.
friend story, which is still a single out.
yeah, I would have to be. I needed someone else to be like, "Oh, we're going." Cooper'd be cool if you came.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Actually, Terrence did go, and then he was about to leave, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll go." And then he was like, "Oh, you coming?" And I was like, "Oh no, of course."
Yeah, you should have come.
Yeah, well, I didn't go, and now I have this great like Cooper snub me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like you like being snubbed a little bit.
I like when I have like real life. This is like real life material, you know. Like there's a few jokes I use in real life over and over again,
Right.
and I think that's now becoming one of them. And so like,
Do you get snubbed a lot?
no, just by you that one time at your birthday.
Yeah, because otherwise I don't think people snub you.
No, the whole joke is that Cooper snubbed me. That's it.
Do you tell people that I'm a snubber?
No, I mostly do this with you.
Okay. Can I still get up early at your open mic today?
It's not happening today. Check my story.
Why?
First Monday of every month. However, starting next month, that's not the case. So
What's happening the first Monday?
I don't
Another
know.
show?
They're doing something else, but I think the people that were doing the thing pissed them off. So they said, you know what? Next month, open mic can happen. So
How do you feel about hosting an open mic?
it's okay. I'm not great at it. I also want to get better at hosting, but hosting an open mic doesn't really help that because you're just saying the people's names.
Now you can get better, but you have to like not be embarrassed, and it's hard.
It's more like people will get pissed if I'm like riffing between everybody. So like
Yeah.
I can unless it has to be like, okay, I got something really funny to say. Let me try it.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, my hand is in the bucket.
Right.
And I have like 5 seconds. If that gets a laugh and I comment on that, I'm still a jerk.
You got pre-planned riffs though?
What do you mean?
Like watch the last 30 seconds of everybody's set and then just say a 5-second thing
Yes, I do
about it.
that. I do that all the time.
Yeah, then you got to do that.
That you have to.
That's the only way to host.
Yeah.
You ever like do a show or a mic and then like the host will come up and just like a person will just be talking about going to the market and then they come up and they're just like, "Psh, I was at the hair salon the other day," and you're just like, "Where's this coming from?"
No, that I don't do.
And they just do a bit.
Oh, I don't do bits. I just think of something based on what
Yeah.
they say. I always have something to say. The problem is that it is nice because usually I'm at a mic and I'm listening to people talk. I'm like, I wish I could just have one comment about their thing.
Right.
But the problem is it's usually not funny. It's just like, hey, don't you know this stupid fact that no one cares about and it doesn't even have really that much to do with your joke. You just mentioned it.
You got to shut that part of your brain off.
Yeah.
Is what you have to do.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
You just have to shut that part off, I think.
We'll see.
Just when I don't know, because I notice that a lot. There's a lot of hosts that like, not you, but there's not you.
Okay.
Wink. I'm winking at the camera.
I see
Not
you winking
No,
at the
not you
camera.
actually, though. But there are some hosts that don't know that. There are a lot of hosts that pontificate, and they don't know that their only job is to be funny. And if they have nothing
Right.
funny to say, then they have to shut up. People don't get that hosting is not like you're not doing stand-up.
Right.
You're just like Ryan Seacrest.
You're just between people.
That's what I
Getting to
think.
the next guy.
When I host comedy shows, I'm like, I'm Ryan Seacrest.
Okay.
I am Ryan Seacrest.
That's actually, I might use that.
But we know some people that really don't know how to shut up. And it's an issue.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, it's a big issue.
I think I know what you're talking about.
There's a lot of selfish open mic hosts out there.
a lot of them.
Well, what's bad is we know one guy, and they just...
Could be anybody.
I don't talk about this guy in the podcast. Maybe I do. I don't think I do.
I don't even know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. But
okay.
you don't need to know his
I do.
name because you'll never know his name. But
Oh, God,
whoa,
damn, chill.
shit.
Cooper.
But
He's not usually this rude.
he goes up and he riffs and then he laughs, waits for a response from the audience, which is usually no, and then continues to pontificate.
No, you can't do that.
You can't do it.
You got 5 seconds.
You got 5 seconds.
You got as much time as it takes you to mix up those little tickets in that bucket.
I think it's important for a host to kind of be a little kind of feeling worried every time.
You should good because I do. Because you know what it is. It'll be like someone said a joke about buying the second cheapest wine.
Yeah.
And I just said that's actually the worst deal.
Yeah.
And no one really cared.
Yeah. You know what sucks is that's an interesting point.
Well, it was actually amazing.
But it's the context.
They brought it up as if they actually hadn't heard that. But they mentioned they said they do that, but it's like a famous thing.
What's funny though is even if that
Yeah,
situation
this isn't interesting. I agree. Now that I'm trying to be like, isn't that crazy?
No, it is crazy. But the problem is even if that situation goes well, it's still not good for the mic because I remember that situation. You said that and the person who said that was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And you were like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Anyway, no, actually,
yeah,
it was
and then
even more
that's
than that. It was like, "Oh, what wine should I buy?" I'm like, "Whatever wine you want to buy." I'm just saying it's a bad deal. Okay.
What is the premise of that?
She said she buys the second cheapest wine, and that's
Yeah.
like a joke on saying, sorry, who knows what's gonna be heard?
This is not good.
Buying the second cheapest wine,
this is
and
not
that's a
good
joke
equipment.
of saying hey, I'm trying to pretend not to be cheap, basically,
Right.
which is a very common thing, and it's such a common thing, in fact, that the restaurants make that the worst deal because they know everyone will just do that.
Yeah. I don't think people get though
But
that
it's not
wine
that
is
interesting.
wine is like the weird thing where you can kind of ask at any restaurant and it's like this thing that most restaurants will be excited to answer for you.
Oh, what's a good wine here?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's kind of the playful thing. If you want to seem rich, you should ask.
right.
But if there's a sommelier and you don't ask the sommelier what wine you should get with your food, you're a fucking idiot. I was talking about this with Meredith.
Does he not just recommend the most expensive one?
No.
Okay.
No, a good sommelier? No.
Well, of course not a good one. That
And
would be
especially the thing is, if I go to a nice place and there's a sommelier, I don't have that much money. So chances are I'm getting a glass.
okay.
Okay?
All right.
Glasses are usually not the most expensive wines.
They're not going to break your.
The good stuff, they don't just give you a glass.
So
of.
you ask the sommelier, "What's a good glass?"
Like
What would be a good glass?
I was
glass
at-
of wine, so he knows to give you one that's offered by the glass.
I was at dinner for Valentine's Day with my lovely girlfriend, and at first I ordered a red just for the couple appetizers. But then my meal came, which was a fettuccine pasta with white wine
All right,
sauce,
I'm too
with
hungry for this.
uni
Not necessary.
and caviar
I guess it is.
and creme fraiche. And it was amazing. It was light, little heavy because it's a lot of pasta. But I asked the sommelier, I was like, what goes good with this? And then you see this twinge in their eye where they go, finally, some guy is not thinking that he knows about wine. I can do my fucking job, which is just to get you the wine that you should drink. So he goes, oh, I have the perfect thing. And then a lot of times, whether or not this is a lie, I don't care. It kind of is a lie, but they always go, I know it. And then they go to the back and they almost act like they're getting you a wine that you would have never got. You know what I mean? They're like, I'll get you the friend wine. You know what I mean? They kind of do that.
Fun.
And then they come out and they do the job. Meredith was like, yeah, my ex, he would always just pick his own wine, which I think makes you look kind of trashy. Because I think it's the idea that oh, well, rich people just know what they want. But truly rich people are people that don't want to do anything. And they want people to just do everything for them. So the richest thing to do is just to be like, just do your job. Go get me the wine in a nice way. But, you're like, oh, my life's so amazing. I'll take any kind of wine. I don't need to control anything. Everything's always fine for me. So just what do you think would be the best? And then he's like, oh, of course, madame. And then, he
You
goes.
think that's what Mark Cuban does?
I honestly, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think Mark Cuban's the perfect example of just like, listen, I have people that do their jobs, and I let them do their jobs.
Yeah.
You say shit like that, right?
Yeah, and that's how you make
What
connections.
about Mr. Wonderful?
And if you
This
ask,
is the only rich people I know are on Shark Tank.
Mr. Wonderful probably is a wine guy already, and he might, what he probably does? He does the maybe more annoying thing where he, like, does ask the sommelier, but he kind of asks him, like, to let him know that he knows about wine. Where he's like, oh, like the Bordeaux, those are usually from there. And then he's like, yeah, okay, you're a rich guy that knows about. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
they try to play with them. I just go in like a dullard. Like,
Okay.
I'll go in and I'll be like, oh, this kind of, like, he gave me the wine. I was like, this kind of tastes like a Riesling. It's kind of dry. And he was like, yeah. And they'll take that. They like that,
Yeah, sure.
But they don't want you to, like, it's a sommelier. What pisses me off about people who don't respect the sommelier is that the sommelier's whole job is to work for one place with one back room of wine. So he knows every single wine that restaurant has. And he knows every single food that restaurant serves. So only he knows what wines in his vicinity will go with what food in his vicinity. You can't walk into a place with all new food and all new wine that you've never been to and be like, I bet I could pick the best. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, it's all this stuff that he's already matched up with each other. He already has those answers.
Right.
And you go in and you're like, I bet I got it.
Okay, yeah, so the odds are low. Yeah, but some people just have preferences on wine and stuff, too. It's not like just what pairs.
But those preferences are important. You can tell the sommelier. You can be like, I usually like these wines. I'll usually drink these wines with blank. What wine do you have in here that would fit me? And then he'll be like, he'll like Rain Man you and then get you a good wine.
I want to actually just see a sommelier do that, not even to drink. I just want to see him work. You're making him sound like quite an artist.
They are artists.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is like, it's a career restaurant guy. It's a guy who's devoted his life
You gotta love the career, man.
to dining.
Yeah.
And we don't respect them because they're not astronauts.
No,
but it's
we
like,
should. They're better than astronauts.
this guy takes all his mental power.
There's nothing cool in space.
There's nothing cool in space.
There's nothing. It's mostly empty.
But you know what? There is a lot of cool stuff at
Where?
the bottom of a bottle of red.
That's right.
And that's what it's about. And that was good. But
Was it good?
so it's like, yeah, nobody respects him because it's like, oh, this guy works in a restaurant. It's like, no, this guy's like a genius on wine. This is the only place he can really show it, and it's in
he
this
gets to
nice
rock.
Italian
That's
restaurant.
his moment.
That's
Don't take that away from him.
That's what I don't get too. Is like,
Yeah.
that's his moment.
That's his thing.
That's his thing.
We do comedy. There occasionally get to stand on the stage in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah. Imagine if you went.
Sommelier occasionally gets to really rock.
Imagine if you went to a show and you were doing jokes, and then the guy was like, "I would prefer that you do jokes about cars."
No,
You'd be like, "Sir,
I'm an artist."
mwah, this is the greatest joke from the Rhine River. You know, the roots have been there for hundreds of years
Sure.
for me to talk about being gay.
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to trust my expertise.
Because I always talk about being gay.
I talk about being gay a little bit. Why don't you talk about being gay?
Well, I'm not gay, but I've thought about it.
You thought about it?
Thought about talking about
You
it.
thought about talking about
Yeah.
it?
Seems like
In therapy or
seems like
to a gay guy?
I have pretended to be gay,
Why?
but not to a gay guy, to a straight guy.
Why?
This is back in like college, like I was 18,
Okay.
and like someone said like something was gay as like a joke or call me a slur or something like that, and I was like, actually, I am gay to try to make him feel bad.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Turns out he's just an asshole. Big surprise.
Wait, so he said a gay slur.
Yeah, and there were other people around, so I thought I could really get him on this. And I was in a town, like I was in like a buddy's town, so no one knew me, so I could come out and no one would be able to call me on it,
Right.
and I could like take this guy down a notch.
So after you told him you were gay,
And he was like, I don't fucking care. You.
And then he called you the slur?
No, I don't
You had a
think
gay
so.
hate crime
I
done
don't-
against you?
I don't think so. I was pretty drunk. I don't really remember, but that'd be hilarious if he did. I think he might have.
Yeah, that would
I
be
think he
so.
just said I don't. He just didn't care, and I like kept. I'm like, but I'm actually gay, and he was just like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm still a piece of shit.
Isn't that kind of funny that you got to feel like what it feels like to be gay for a second of telling somebody like that actually really hurts me and then them being like, I don't care.
I think I actually, yeah, right. I was trying to like steal the moment that maybe people
Yeah.
look for.
Yeah.
And that would be like while you're like, oh, wouldn't that be nice to be on your high horse? But then I actually got the real experience, which is the other person is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it just sucks.
It's funny because any gay
I really went through it.
Yeah, because any gay dude would be like, oh no, if you tell that guy you're gay, he's just gonna be homophobic to you specifically.
Yeah.
And
there
then,
were other people around. I thought I had it, but no.
So you just told a room of people you were gay, and then that guy was like, I don't give a fuck. And then you got no pussy that night because every girl was like, well, he's gay.
Absolutely not. And I believe, okay, so I remember.
That guy got pussy?
I was, probably. I was.
Yeah, I mean, he's homophobic. Those guys get tons of pussy.
I was really drunk, so I don't really remember. But apparently the next day I go up, and I'm with my friend. We're leaving. We're like hungover, driving up to New Hampshire the next day. And he was like, his friend texted him, a different guy was like, yeah, AJ like came out to me last night. Like, no, like seriously, he's definitely gay. Because apparently I was like, well, I got to commit to this bit now.
Oh,
and
man.
so then afterwards,
so you were gay the whole night.
I had a gay night in Massachusetts one time.
Then you're like 2 miles away fucking a guy you met on Grindr that wasn't even.
Yeah, one thing leads to another.
He wasn't even at the party.
No.
And you were like, I gotta
commit to the
I gotta
bit.
sell this bit.
Yeah.
I gotta have a gay experience.
My mom told me never break.
Right.
Be as gay as you want, but never break.
Did you ever see that guy again?
Which one?
The homophobic guy?
Maybe once. Actually, I was invited to someone was near where I was and was like, oh, you should come hang out. And then he said he's inviting all these guys. And then he said he was inviting that guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't invite that guy. I won't go. And he was like, okay, if you come, I won't invite him. And that was a win for me.
Right.
I'm more well liked.
It was an ally.
And this guy is from that town. So I've kind of worked my way into that town. Someone from that town likes me more than him.
You were like, as a fake gay guy,
I'd
feel really
too offended.
I would feel uncomfortable if he was there.
But then I didn't end up going, and the other guy went.
Of course, he probably got pussy.
Oh, absolutely.
It sucks to imagine that you.
I think he specifically. I found out. Yeah.
You found out that he got pussy?
I don't know. I think he just asked the waitress for a number or something like that. It wasn't.
What was in your pocket?
Could be anything. But so I don't know how.
You had a golf ball in your pocket the whole time.
I always have a golf ball in my pocket.
Did you know that was in your pocket?
You should always have a ball in your pocket, Cooper.
Is that true?
What if you lose the ball?
I got golf pants.
Oh, can I see them?
My room's pretty dirty, but you can see them later.
Okay.
I got golf pants. I got a golf shirt with companies on it.
What companies? FedEx?
Like random companies. Like random companies on like the sleeve.
So they look like you're sponsored?
A little. A little bit. And the shirt's a little big so I can tuck it in to some kind of tighter golf pants.
I would have multiple companies. What companies? Like Sunoco?
I can get a Scotty Scheffler look going on.
Yeah.
I'll find it. Just
you don't have to do it right now.
Right here. It's somewhere. Where is it? Here it is.
I should probably try to fill time, but never mind. Too easy.
This is okay.
So many logos.
This is my new golf
Puma,
shirt.
for one.
So first it's Puma.
Right.
It's a Puma.
I remember you mentioning that. I'm being like, Brittany Fowler.
To be clear, it's Puma Golf too, so it's not just anything.
It is a golf shirt.
On the arm, we got Amino Vital. So that looks like vitamins. That looks like an early sponsor of a golfer. You know what I mean? This is like your first sponsor.
One, yeah.
This is like your first one. And then on the other one, we got Joey D Golf.
That's crazy. That's like Bad News Bears when he has to get a sponsor, so he goes to Hooters or whatever. Yeah.
But it's a little big on me, so I can I'll have to maybe I'll even tuck it. But I'm kind of excited for the tuck.
The tuck.
You know the tuck with the little frill?
Yeah. You have to pull it because you need room for your hips to move.
Yeah.
You have to pull. I used to tuck with the frill in baseball all the time.
The new guys are like hot boys, like Rory McIlroy.
Tight tuck?
He'll have a tight tuck.
That's why he hasn't won a major. And
That's
I
why
don't
he's
know how long.
And who's fucking winning majors? Scotty Scheffler.
Guy Scheffler who goes frill.
Loose tuck.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that's dressing a little old school. His pants are still a little.
Sometimes the old
new.
ways are best.
That's what I'm saying.
Look at these guys today. Don't get me wrong. They look like $1 million. They all look way hotter than any of the guys, except for maybe Tiger in the '90s.
I don't understand how that changed, though, because it's so weird that golf they would wear pants that seemed purposely too big for them.
Yeah.
And shirts that were purposely too big for them, which I think was a choice of, like, free movement.
And then with, like, snapback hats.
Yeah. And then now...
They're like rappers, dude.
Everybody's, like, tight as hell.
Yeah.
And it must be the material's more flexible, so it can kind of work. But, like, I don't even like golfing in this shirt because my pits are, like...
Exposed?
They're tight. No, they're tight on the pits.
Oh.
And then I got pit burn.
You can't have pit burn.
Yeah, then I got pit burn. So
No, you're gonna have to put Band-Aids on your pits before the next round.
yeah, it kind of becomes an issue.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got a new season of Live Golf though.
Oh, and we still haven't finished the last season.
And we still haven't finished the last season.
We really got it. Did we even finish Boston?
Yeah, we finished Boston.
Oh, right.
Dustin Johnson with like a 19-foot putt to win.
That's right, in the overtime. Yeah.
Which the PGA Tour doesn't want to see that.
Well, they have overtime.
They're not
too.
happy. No, but they're not happy to see Dustin Johnson still being a champ.
Oh, I guess.
You know what I mean? That's champ behavior.
But they might be calling him like a paper champ or
What's a paper champ?
It's like a champ on paper, but
Yeah, but that putt, I mean, that doesn't matter who he's putting against.
it's like a paper tiger.
That's a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, he won a bunch of money.
I've talked about Live Golf before on the podcast, but since nobody actively keeps listening to the podcast, I'll explain. It's a new golf league. It's funded by the Saudi government.
Mhm.
People are accusing it of sports washing, which is like when Hitler had the Olympics in Berlin to kind of distract from the terrible things they were doing. They're saying the Saudis are doing that with golf. What I disagree with the premise if we're still thinking the PGA Tour is so great, because America is committing human rights atrocities all the time. Like, pretty undoubtedly.
Mm-hmm.
And we got football, baseball, American soccer. We got so much
And
shit.
golf.
And golf and the PGA Tour that's distracting people the entire time. So it's like the Saudi government is like beheading journalists. That being said, a lot of journalists dying randomly in the United States.
We're just not as upfront about it.
I mean, it happens and nobody really talks about it because it's always like a conservative talking point. Like, there's a lot of weird journalists that die around the Clintons, but you don't want to bring that up because then you sound like Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, it does happen. Which, honestly, the Live Golf is great because there's so many... Before it started, it was, like, it's been demonized. And so all these golfers that were going to it, they would be in interviews, like Lee Westwood, like old British men. And they'd be like, so you're going to Live? And they'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, so do you support the murder of this journalist in Saudi Arabia? And then they would just be like, you want me to defend the government capture and murder of a journalist? And honestly, if I was one of them, I'd be like, I don't know. It kind of seems like the Clintons know a lot of dead journalists and fire it back. Do you think that would work?
Yeah, especially since he's British, I think that would be kind of good because it's like, hey,
that's not even my government.
That's not even my government. So I'm not even like saying I'm from a bad place.
And then you get to put it on America.
You get to put it on America, and people love to do that.
Yeah.
Americans like turning on America these days.
Well, they ask him questions nobody could fucking answer. It's like, this guy's good at golf, and you want him to talk about Saudi politics.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you're making money off of them, you kind of, on paper, you should have moral grounds to do it. In practice, a lot of money is sick, and that's literally all that matters.
You can't get a lot of money all at once without it going from somewhere pretty gross.
Yeah, it's just like stupid journalist tactics where they're just like,
you know what? Someone should fucking kill those guys.
Somebody should fucking kill all PGA journalists. They should be beheaded, like this guy in Saudi Arabia. Well, not like that guy. Different from that guy. I think the guy in Saudi Arabia should be alive. I do think golf journalists that are giving guff to Ian Poulter should maybe be beheaded at the Masters tournament. But
that's at most.
At most.
At most.
That's as far as I'll go.
And I will. Nothing more should be done.
That's my line.
The
killing of golf journalists is my line.
That's it.
But it's like they ask.
But it's the tippy top of the line, but it is still within the line.
It's within the
line. The line is included in your list of things that are acceptable.
Yeah, the line itself is included.
At the maximum.
Well, I live on the edge, so I got to have the line in to stand on the edge.
Yeah.
Well,
otherwise, where do you live?
They do like gotcha journalism where they're like, I know he's not going to have an answer to this question. So if I was one of those golfers, I'd be like, well, can you answer for all of like the journalists that die in the United States, or the fact that Edward Snowden was called a terrorist after he leaked that your own government's spying on your citizens? Can you answer for that, and how the PGA Tour is part of mass entertainment that kind of washes all that away? Because somebody hears about Edward Snowden, and then you go, hey, the Masters are in 2 weeks, and you're like, oh, sick. And then you care more about that. Why would any normal person...
Yeah, I definitely forgot about Snowden.
Exactly. Everybody forgot about it. Why would any normal person...
How's he doing? Where's he now?
Bad.
Is he?
He's not doing great. I mean, he has to like live in Russia for the rest of his life. Which maybe he's fine. I don't know. I mean, it's probably a little weird over there right now.
I can't imagine it's the best place to be.
But he like sacrificed his whole life just to tell the people that they were being spied on, and then the American government was like, if you come back here, we're putting you in jail. And what was his crime? I don't know. They're saying he was like a national security threat, where it's like all he did was just tell people they were being spied on.
Right.
So how are these golf journalists going to answer for that? Is this a pedantic point? I don't know. My point makes almost too much sense to me that I think it has to be wrong.
The Snowden thing's pretty good.
I just don't get this. I don't get how we're not sports washing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
Like, what are we doing? What is anything we do if not to distract us?
I guess those are those. They're not funded by the government.
The PGA?
I don't think so.
I guess that the money's coming.
The money's coming directly from the government.
Yeah.
Now, is the PGA, are the MLB, is the NFL, are these good organizations?
Probably not.
Funded by great people who only do good things.
Usually
of
no.
Course, especially baseball. I love baseball.
I mean, that's the thing. The thing is, like, sports have such an impact on the world, but they don't usually get as much pressure to change organizationally because nobody really cares who owns the NFL.
I mean, the NFL has gotten a lot of pressure to change organizationally, specifically.
How so?
I mean, I'm not saying they did any of it.
Right.
But they got pressured with Black Lives Matter and everything like that.
Okay.
With Kaepernick kneeling and then him losing his job. And
right.
Basically.
And then they just kicked him out of the NFL.
Yeah, he hasn't. I think he's done some. Yeah, he hasn't played since.
I mean, he's not playing.
He hasn't played.
They would never let him play.
Yeah, maybe.
The NFL would never let him play again. And that's just accepted.
I don't know, actually. I think they would let him play.
They put
I think the owners aren't good people either.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he's tried out for teams, and I think he doesn't want to be a backup, and now he also has other things he's doing, so.
Yeah.
But he probably could have been a starter. I mean, Jay Cutler got signed right after him. Anyway, but yeah. Basically, yeah. They don't change. They won't let a nickel roll out the door, and most of their fan base is leaning one way, so.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like live golf is just one of many stands that people take that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say about anything because it's like if you say like, oh, this sucks, it's like, yeah, a bunch of things suck, and it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
but yeah, in this case, they're like analogous examples.
Like, does this one suck because the government is not ours that they're getting their money from?
Well, that's why people are talking about it.
Like, our money is not from sick ass places all the time.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
We still kind of have colonies. Like, that's kind of wild. You know what I mean? Puerto Rico, we like own that, but don't, and that's like chill. That doesn't seem chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if that's his.
Did you not study up on foreign affairs before coming on the pod?
I don't know geography. And you just brought up a country.
Where's Puerto Rico?
Well, it's part of America.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. territory.
Yeah.
Commonwealth or whatever. No.
From where we are in California, is it east or west?
Oh, we're in California. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm usually sorry.
East or west?
Most of my life I've been in Rhode Island. So east or west?
Yeah. Where's Puerto Rico?
I was thinking north or south.
Just what direction, east or west?
It has to be east.
All right. North or south?
It's got to be south.
Yeah, you're pretty fine.
Whew,
you're all right.
I could get a quadrant.
It's down there. It's around there.
You give me a quadrant.
Yeah,
you can get a quadrant. Knock it out of the park.
You can get a quadrant. I'll give you a quadrant.
I can get a quadrant.
I don't know. You also have like general direction issues though too.
Yeah.
Because geography is like a wide term, but like we were in our own neighborhood 2 blocks away from here, and you said
it's all geography to me.
Yeah, you said I don't know where we are.
I could have told you what quadrant we were in though.
No, you couldn't have.
Wait, of the map?
Yeah. Fourth?
Well, it'd be probably like the first, right? It'd be like the northwest.
No, we were over there.
Show me a map.
I can't.
I guess it depends on. I mean, look, the map could start and end anywhere.
Wow, that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the Earth's a globe and you're flattening it out.
On Earth. I thought you meant like. Well, there's no end to a map.
No, I was saying if we were looking at a map of the Earth.
Yeah.
We're in California and therefore in the northwest.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily. It's not true.
Right.
It's a globe. Everything is north of everything, and whatnot.
Would you still be a fan of
Unless
Liv?
This is not a flat Earth podcast, is it?
But
we do accept flat earthers if they want to listen, but maybe don't comment.
No, actually, you can comment.
Yeah, actually, go crazy. Hey, where all my Flat Earth Kings at?
Flat
Go
Earth-
nuts in the comments.
That would drive up engagement like
That's
crazy.
they love to talk, and people love to argue with them.
Yeah.
So that is great engagement.
Yeah.
Flat Earthers, sound off in the comments below.
Honestly, I would be fine if the Flat Earthers didn't even watch the pod if they just used my comment section as a place to argue.
It was just a forum.
Yeah.
The Cooper Light is Alone podcast / Flat Earth Forum.
Flat Earth Forum.
Oh, wow.
It's not pro or against anything.
No, that's the best part because they can argue in the comments.
It's just a forum.
It's all about civil or not discussion.
Yeah. And I want a lot of like hidden comments. You know what I mean? Like a lot of comments that YouTube is like, that's not.
Ooh, I want to see a lot of people responding to people that you cannot see.
Yeah.
You'll be like, and another thing at ba 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 ba.
Yeah.
And that guy's you're just like scrolling. What the hell is this guy?
If I don't get comments removed on my videos, then I know
It's
that
a
people
failed video.
Then people don't really care.
No.
Then there's no passion.
To be fair, if this is the reason, they still won't care. I mean, they'll care, but not about the podcast.
Right.
But I guess they were listening in the first place to find out about it.
Yeah.
At least the early adopters.
I don't know. I mean, if there's one group I could hone in on, maybe I could do like anti-circumcision people.
I'm not a big fan.
Of circumcision?
I think it's a little gross.
Are you circumcised?
Yeah.
But you're not a fan of it.
Yeah, I didn't choose to be circumcised.
Do you wish you were uncircumcised?
I don't know.
I've thought about this, and I've known people with fucked up foreskins, and it just seems like if there's a chance, if I had a child, if there's a chance of his penis getting fucked up, and I could kind of fix that chance with a safe circumcision.
I'm not saying it's like the biggest problem in the world.
To some people it is.
But I think it's a little to pull out a knife and cut off a part of a little baby's penis. I think that's got to be. We got to talk. I think we should. It's a little weird.
I think there's some.
That's the norm.
I think it's. I think there are some things that we've been doing for thousands of years, kind of for no reason other than God, and sometimes we should just keep doing them.
Okay, name another one. Do you have any? I'm sorry to put you on the spot. You said it like you had one in the chamber, but clearly not.
I mean, honestly, a lot of the other stuff is pretty bad.
Does anyone bowl that doesn't believe in God?
Bowl?
I feel like people that are really into bowling
believe in God.
I think bowling comes from God in some way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like a bunch of church people made bowling.
It's kind of like when you let the ball out of your hands, God has it.
Yeah.
It's kind of in God's hands at that
point. It
point.
really is.
Like the spin that good bowlers can put on it, like that's God.
God created physics, so.
God is your own bumpers. That's kind of what I say.
God, please be my bumpers tonight.
God is my bumpers. In no way will I end up with the gutter when I walk with God.
That's right.
I've always believed that.
Mm-hmm. You swore one time and went straight in the gutter.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
God hates swearing. He speaks English, by the way.
I don't know.
Swear in another language.
And there are a lot of people that's like, well, you can fuck up a circumcision, and that is true.
Damn, I didn't even think about that.
I look at a lot of dicks on Reddit, and there's a lot of. I've been harvesting porn from solo content creators. It makes you feel a little bit better because they don't work for the man.
How many penises you seen on Reddit?
Oh, I mean, just
what subreddits are you in?
Twinks, twunks, hung
just
twinks.
For fun?
I jerk off to it.
Oh,
I don't like
to
post.
Reddit.
I don't post.
No,
but this is like it's people that they make content.
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
And they go on Reddit to advertise their content. So they post pictures.
Oh,
they want
and
you
you're just jerking off to the ads.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They want you to because the ads are just full porn.
Yeah, it's basically.
They want you to subscribe to their OnlyFans, which I'm not going to give them money.
Oh.
But it's kind of like going around a Costco, and you get like free samples.
Yeah.
Of like a picture of a dick.
Okay.
And that's how it is. But there's a lot of bad circumcisions out there. A lot of really bad ones.
Okay, well now you're really I was already kind of in the anti-circumcision camp.
Most are fine though. Most are totally fine.
Yeah.
Some are bad. But some foreskins are like too tight, you know what I mean? And that's like
I mean, if you have a problem, I'm sure you can have a procedure done.
Yeah, but then you have to like get surgery on your dick as an adult, and that's scarring.
Well, does it matter? I mean, don't you feel it just as much as a baby? I mean, I guess you forget it, which is cool.
Yeah, you don't remember.
So that's what it is?
Yeah.
We're just trying to have the trauma happen before they can remember?
Well, circumcision...
It's never happened.
Anti-circumcision people will also be like, that's a very traumatic event to happen at the beginning of your birth. And
I'm kind of, yeah.
I agree, but I also think, yeah, I mean, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
You know what I mean? It's like you come
This is
out,
your first trauma. You're gonna have a lot.
they cut your penis, and you're like, all right, life is crazy.
Life sucks.
It's these people with foreskins that think anything is possible, and they're like, everything will be fine. Everybody with a cut penis is like, anything can go bad happen anytime. And I know that because I came out of the womb and they cut my penis.
I'm just thinking of now. Never mind.
What are you thinking of?
Well, just because who's circumcised, right? Like Jewish people and Catholics.
Catholics, no.
No.
Well, I mean, technically, I'm
Catholic.
Catholic. Technically, you're Catholic.
Yeah.
We are. So we're American Catholics,
Mhm.
but no, Catholics around the world, like people in Mexico and Italy, like no, they're all uncut.
That's true.
They're all uncut.
Okay.
The thing is, Jews hold it down with cutting off the penis, but Catholics hold it down with savoring the foreskin.
Savoring the foreskin.
They love the foreskin.
They love having it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because it looks like the Pope, so they want to keep it,
Sure.
so it feels good.
And they think they can do anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Catholics were also known for being like believing in the worst.
Yeah. Well, you
Is
know
it
what
the
I will
time?
say though is like there are a lot of great penises with foreskins on them, from what I can tell of independent juggernauts online. But there are a lot of bad foreskins, and there are more good circumcisions than there are bad circumcisions. And there might be more bad foreskins than there are good foreskins. So like the ratio,
I think the ratio you need though,
the good-looking penis.
botched foreskins, botched circumcisions to bad foreskins.
I think there's more bad foreskins.
But then that also as a ratio of success rate in each.
I think the success would
'Cause
honestly.
it's not necessarily 50, half of the world is circumcised, half isn't. So
I think
it
the
has to be
success. I think the winner of better looking penises does go to circumcisions.
weighted. Well, I'm not saying better looking necessarily.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Talking about cosmetically.
Well, if I don't think it's just cosmetic. You're
mostly
cutting off a
It's a
little
cosmetic
baby's
thing.
penis.
It's only cosmetic. The whole procedure.
Well,
is
that's
cosmetic.
what I'm saying. It's just a weird thing to do. Have cosmetic surgery done on your baby.
Yeah, it is weird,
That's strange, especially on their penis.
but people like
Of
it.
all the cosmetic surgeries to give a baby, I think cutting off a little piece of their penis is maybe the weirdest.
Well, it's true visionaries that change the world. And a visionary doesn't look at a baby's penis and think about the baby's penis. It thinks about that baby's penis in 20 years. And they go, what do we want this penis to look like? Because right now it's my decision.
But like you wouldn't like put Botox in a baby's face or something. And that's a
No.
no. And
You
you wouldn't
wouldn't.
like be like, oh my god, they look terrible. We're gonna need to do something about those.
I mean, what if our
ears.
fingers
We're gonna
had
pin up their ears?
What if our fingers had foreskins on them and you could cut it off safely and it could look like these fingers, but people who didn't just had like hoods on them? You cut off those foreskins.
I think when you're 18, you should get to decide.
No. You live your whole life rolling up your fingers so you can use a pen?
You can't use the pen with the foreskin up.
No.
Wouldn't your fingers be too sensitive without the?
Yeah, you would come. Yeah, you'd
You're
come
like,
too much.
oh god.
Yeah. You wouldn't be able to
You
write.
need to roll it up, dude.
Yeah, you'd have to roll it
You
up.
gotta roll it up when you're touching stuff.
I don't know. I just feel like anti-circumcision people seem a lot like flat Earth people to me too. Or it's
I think
just
it's
like
a little different because the Earth is round for sure. Or well, I'm pretty sure.
and a nice cut penis is important for
What if
Western
you have a different?
for civilization.
You think it's important for civilization? I think a lot of civilizations have thrived with uncut penises.
I don't know. Rome fell.
Okay, well, but we're talking about more people uncircumcised in the past, right? So like a lot of people have fallen with uncircumcised penises.
America is like the most powerful country in the world.
Okay.
And you know, because of misogyny, most of the people leading it are men. And because they're American men, most of those men are probably uncut.
I'd really like to know.
And we're kind of winning. We're pretty evil, but we're winning. So what does it say about a guy with a cut penis versus all those guys in Italy who don't want to be an economic powerhouse?
I just can't stop looking at this as somehow like anti-Semitic. When you're like, we're evil, we're running the world. People don't cut penises or cut penises.
It's not anti-Semitic because the people I'm talking about have all been Christian. We haven't even allowed a Jewish president, which is anti-Semitic.
That is anti-Semitic.
And honestly, we would probably thrive with a Jewish president because then we could have the originator of the cut penis as a leader.
Yeah. Well, okay, so now you're not even you're pro circumcision to the point where you're like they're the dominant group.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The chosen people.
Okay, see now...
Is it any coincidence...
See, this is why I keep thinking you're talking about Jewish people. You keep talking like this.
Jewish people are the chosen people.
But you're talking about uncircumcised. I keep saying it wrong.
Circumcised.
Yeah.
So is it any coincidence that the group of people known to themselves and the world as the chosen people are also cut?
Mm-hmm.
No. And if I, as a Christian, can do one little thing to my penis to be a little more like them, and maybe be a little more on God's side.
So you're trying to convert.
No, but even if I'm not, I feel like, if I, and I don't think Jews have heaven, but let's say it's a halfway kind of thing where there is, let's say all religions kind of combine. So I go up to God, and I'm like, hey.
And he's like, the Jews got heaven wrong, but they were right about the penis thing.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say?
I think he'd be so hyped on me. I think he'd be like,
you got everything right. Holy shit. No, you have no idea, because like this little bit of every religion was right, and you just fucking nailed it, dude.
Yeah.
You got 1, 2, 3, you got everything.
Yeah.
And the only thing about the Jews is the penis thing, and you got that.
Yeah.
And then oh my God.
He's like, I love Catholics. You're Catholic. That's great. And you have a cut penis.
You believed in heaven. That was awesome. Totally here. Look. Oh my God. Golden Gates.
Yeah. And God, like, sort of my penis creates in his hands, and he's like, I love cut penises too. And thank you for coming. Yeah, he gives my penis a kiss.
A smooch.
And he goes, I love your Catholic Jewish penis that you've brought me to the heavens.
Yeah.
And since I'm in heaven, I'll be my age now.
You think this is peak?
I would like this to be heaven age.
You're calling it right now.
I don't know.
Lyden today is heaven age.
I don't know if this is peak. I just think everybody in heaven being 23 would be just sexy.
Yeah, no, of course it'd be sexy. You know what's funny?
It should be sexy.
I was looking at a picture of our friend Killian, right?
Yeah.
I looked at him like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he looks exactly the same, but he clearly looks younger and hotter.
You think he looked better a few years ago?
When he was 23 or whatever.
I think he's coming into a more rugged self.
I think it's crazy because I think it's like, oh, if you looked at him, you'd be like, oh, this is like the best you ever looked. You could have glowed up since you came to LA, right?
Yeah.
Until you look at a picture of him younger and you're like, oh yeah, being 23 is just better all the time.
Yeah, but and now
this has been bugging me ever since.
But
He's
nowadays, the look that you curate is becoming more important than your natural look.
Your natural, right? But
and
there's just something in his eyes, like he had hope there or something.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Hope's not sexy.
And it doesn't last, so you better figure out something else.
Killian has a good, like, I've been a trash man that gets stung by bees in the trash, smoke a cigarette, kind of dead eye. Women want that.
Yeah, for sure.
Women don't want to date a guy that's like, hey, like, that's not hot.
Yeah.
What's hot is like,
Killian.
Nah, it's fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, people like that.
Yeah.
People like that a lot. You know. Right now,
He's got a Boston accent and a lisp. It's unbelievable.
People love it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's a man of the people.
Yeah. Right now, I am 23. I'm too hopeful,
You're not too hopeful.
But once I get...
You know what, Cooper, actually? I'll say it. I don't think you're too hopeful.
I think you could be surprised that by the time I'm 30, I could be a lot worse.
I believe that.
I could be like a major issue.
Oh, a lot worse in what way? Oh, even less hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying, which is why you're not too hopeful today. I think you figured out that there's no hope already.
No, there's hope.
No, there's hope.
There's not a lot.
Totally. Right. So stop there.
But there's maybe enough. I don't know. This is what I go through every week on the pod when you're not here. That's what I consider it when you're not here.
When I'm over there.
Now that you've been on the podcast, every week that you're not is a week that you're not on it.
Yeah, every episode is now going to be a non-AJ episode.
Yeah, now it's a non-AJ
And everyone's going to be like, tune out.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Hey, call me back can I get a special subscription so that it gives a reminder only when it's an AJ episode?
I was thinking it is funny because if somebody watched this and they're like, oh, I really love this episode, it is funny because it's like, well.
The rest are like, not only are they not like this in that AJ's not here.
Yeah.
They're actually, no one's here.
Yeah, Noah's there.
It's a different, completely vibe, probably.
It's very different.
Yeah. It's the one guy talking the whole time.
Whatever you like about this episode, you probably are not going to get it from the others.
I don't know. I mean, because you've gone in your little rants and stuff about penises and live golf. I feel like you've kind of...
I do, yeah.
You've given a taste. If you liked that part of it, and I'm sure you did.
Yeah, if you like my hardlined opinions.
Uh-huh.
And it is, it is good to have somebody else on the podcast because when it is just me, you have to try and tell people you're joking by being kind of satirical.
Now it's clear I'm joking.
Now it's clear we're kidding.
Right, because I'm like adding little quips.
But when you're your own rogue man on the pod, anything you say can be taken as serious.
Yeah, I feel like you do get upset when people are like, can't tell that you're kidding.
Yeah.
But I'm like, honestly, if I just stumbled upon this guy, who the fuck knows?
Okay.
There are a lot of crazies out there that are just like, I'm going to yell at you.
That's what I'm realizing now.
But then you're almost like a satire of that.
I would like to be.
So it's good. I mean, and so like, well, it's not.
I think it's positive.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that all these weirdos are doing this because now you're doing it, but funny.
I would hope so.
You're like Stephen Colbert to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except it's great because he had a live studio audience. I would laugh so you know he's kidding. What's great about mine is it's really for the learned man.
That's right. People need to, or like, you see a couple and then you start to be like, wait, hold on, he's kidding.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. There's some 3D chess going on with this podcast.
Well, it's a slow burn. It's a slow grind.
It's a slow grind.
But I think you're leading to an amazing crescendo.
I mean, the point of the podcast is I'm going to do this for the foreseeable future. So you do get what you get every week. And if some people don't like it, I have no answer other than there will be another one next week.
Well, hey, that's impressive. A lot of people give up after a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many you got in? You're in 20s.
This is like 22nd.
Woo!
We're almost on my birth episode. That'll be next week. So that's pretty exciting.
23.
23. So
and you're not going to do the 24th one until you turn 24.
I won't do the 20.
You can keep on having a birth episode. You're only going to do it on your birthday.
I'm only doing it on my birthday.
Listen, this is now the Cooper Lyden is Alone birthday podcast.
It would probably be a more interesting podcast if I had a year of content.
A whole year?
I just refer to life experience as content. So that's sad. I did have a bad moment the other day.
Yeah, I just had a whole year of content. That's so funny.
I was peeing, and I was having a hard time peeing because I was on my phone, and I wouldn't take my eyes off the screen when I was like peeing to flushing to washing my hands. And then I turned off the phone, I looked in the mirror, and I go, you don't need content to pee.
That's crazy. I don't do it, on a stand-up pee?
Yeah, on a stand-up pee.
See, I don't do that because I'm too afraid to drop my phone in the toilet. But I will sit down pee just to look at my phone, and obviously...
Whoa!
Yeah.
So
which I'm spending way more time than I need to there, obviously.
Yeah, that's I'm kind of reckless, but yours is really just succumbing to the phone.
It's just like I'm giving in.
I'll just take
the phone wins.
You take a seat.
I was looking at my phone before this. I'll be looking at my phone after this, so I might as well be sitting here for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what? But it's not great that I do that. Although, to be honest, I've always been a big fan of the sit-down pee. I've always been a big...
Since when?
What did I just say?
Always.
Always. So
since like a little kid?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why would you stand up when you can sit down? That's like the biggest fake... like, it's useful when you're out and about. You can use urinals. It's great.
Yeah, it's because sitting down, you have to take off your pants.
That's never been an issue for me.
You're totally fine to drop trowel when you need to.
Oh yeah, you know when they have those bathrooms with the urinal and the toilet, and there's no divider or anything.
Yeah,
at like a bar.
Yeah,
I'll drop trowel and sit down and pee at the toilet. With
really,
another guy there. No,
not with another guy.
That'd be crazy.
That would be the
if
craziest...
they have a urinal, I'll just use the urinal.
It would be the craziest thing ever if a guy was already peeing and you go down and drop trowel, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm a dude. I've experienced this. This is a guy that's confident shitting in front of me."
And then I start peeing.
But then
I get up after the pee
Yeah.
and wash my hands
Yeah.
and then be like, "What's up, bro?" And I walk out.
Yeah. He'd be like, "I would have been fine with you standing at the other toilet."
Yeah. That would have been way more normal and fine.
You didn't have to drop trowel.
But that's not what I do.
Do you ever shit in toilets with like no stall door? You ever do that when you encounter one?
No, I don't think I could do that.
I've done it before.
I mean, I guess if you really have to.
You just do it. You know how I like to do it is I sit and then I casually cover my penis as if I'm not covering my penis.
But you're also, like, I don't give a fuck.
Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like my hands are just, I can't, but my hands are just kind of in my...
Do people walk in, walk by?
And I just kind of look chill, I'm just like, whatever, like, just this is where my hands are, like, no coincidence that my penis is behind them.
Did people see you like this?
I feel like I've been seen before.
Oh, so you've done this a lot. How many times do you places with bathrooms with no stalls?
I usually don't like to, though. It's hard to bring
like
myself.
Chatterbox or something? You see their new bathroom? They got a new bathroom.
I can't do it at Chatterbox because that's an open mic we go to. I can't do it. I can't do it there because I can't. I don't want to. I love my penis, but I don't want to show it to a comedian and then go do stand up in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I want to do.
Okay.
But I'm all kind of okay with.
He's actually uncircumcised and he's trying to hide it.
I have a 16-inch long foreskin.
Yeah,
that is embarrassing for me.
Sure, especially since you were such an anti-circumcision advocate.
Of course.
That's too many words.
Of course. Where are we at? What time are we at?
I don't know. Oh, that's an hour. Wow.
That's an hour?
That was an hour. Yeah. Right on the dot, basically.
God, I'm such a fucking broadcaster.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I don't know how much time we spent before this. We're probably really only at like 58 minutes.
Oh, so we got 2 more minutes at least.
I don't know. Do you have any final remarks on... We didn't really get to anything.
What were we supposed to?
Yeah, I had a lot of topics.
Maybe in the next episode.
I had tons of stuff I wanted
in
to...
the next AJ.
We'll get you back on in like 3 to 4 years.
Sure, yeah.
Just so you can have some character progression.
Yeah. Well, I do more content for the next 3 years.
Do you have any last thoughts on circumcision or the Saudi murder of journalists?
Okay. Well, I would like to say that, maybe actually America does sports washing. And
Brainwashed by Cooper. How about that?
Right. And cut, uncut, whatever, man. I'm not that. I don't really care.
Cut or uncut, you don't care.
No, everyone's welcome.
As a sometimes, when need be, gay man.
I'm not. Oh yeah, when a hero is needed.
Yeah, when someone needs to come in and be gay.
Yeah, that's my superpower actually.
That's even gayer than just being gay. Is that you're just on call gay?
It's gayer to be on call.
Just to
or
be
is it
like,
gayer to be like,
just to be not.
I'm only gay, but only if it's like people are watching and I get all the attention because of it.
To not be gay, and then whenever a gay person's needed for you to be gay is pretty gay.
Pretty heroic.
All right. Well, give it up for Pretty Gay AJ for coming on the podcast. I'll check and see if this audio is good at all.
Probably not. I turn my head a lot.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll check it out.
We'll see.
And if it is, then you've watched an entire episode of this. And if it's not, then nothing I'm saying now matters at all.
Oh, yeah. We should just stop and listen. You can always do an outro and post.
Thanks for tuning in. I love you so much.
Peace. All right. That went all right.